Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning on our live weekly Saturday workshop show, which we're running on a Thursday, because this Saturday morning I have my motorcycle driver's test. I know, don't tell me I'm gonna die. Death comes to all of us, and what's wrong by dying really quickly, right, on a big bike? Anyway, we have a guest here today, Trevor Love. Trevor is our partner from Orthomolecular, and I thought how really timely with where we are with COVID-19 to just have a conversation about the nutraceutical and botanical recommendations for COVID-19. I know I use big words a lot, nutraceuticals and botanicals. It just means supplements or vitamins as we normally call it, but the technical names go under a lot of that. So we will be having a conversation around the list that is recommended by the Institute of Functional Medicine as some of the key things that each and every one of us should have. I'm just going to read what the Functional Medicine Institute says on this document. At this time, there are no specific vaccines or uniformly successful treatments for COVID-19. However, emerging research on several specific botanicals and nutraceutical agents is promising, as such agents can improve the body's ability to fight off and recover from illness. Really important points. Improve the body's ability to fight off and recover. Beneficial botanical and nutraceutical agents are listed below, along with dosing recommendations from your functional medicine practitioners, which is who we are. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And I brought a much more experienced expert at this. He's not a clinician, but here we're just having a simple conversation. Neither am I a clinician. We are just, what would you call, we are enthusiastic followers of functional medicine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? We are enthusiasts and we practice it ourselves. And yesterday he was fasting. I didn't fast, but he's a much stronger, younger boy than me. So how did you want to go about this, Trevor?
I mean, we could start from the top if you'd like.
Yes,
Yeah.
But you want to introduce yourself briefly,
Yeah.
and then we start doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Trevor Love, I work for Orthomolecular Products, so we specialize in creating the nutraceuticals that Charles mentioned, which is vitamins, minerals, botanicals, probiotics, and food-based products that are used in functional medicine clinics, integrative clinics, and we provide education to a lot of these different patients, doctors, clinicians all across the United States and internationally.
Wonderful. So we're going to start with curcumin.
Yeah.
And we had the last workshop where we talked about curcumin and the new bioavailability research around curcumin. So you want to open with that?
Yeah. So curcumin is extracted from the root, and the roots are commonly grown in India. That's one of the more famous places for the distribution of that root. So it's a food. And in the smallest and most simple form, you are consuming an ingredient that's in a food that is a very helpful and medicinal root. And so what that curcumin part of the root is, about 3%, that helps down signal inflammation. And so what you're doing, your immune system is responsible for creating inflammation. And it can either be good or bad, depending on how much inflammation. So what we know right now is a lot of people are talking about this term cytokine storm, or maybe I can't breathe as well during COVID-19 if I have the virus, or maybe I cough more and my body is responding by creating inflammation. Well, how does curcumin or turmeric relate back to that? That ingredient from the root, which is grown in the ground, has been shown to down-regulate inflammation and improve the immune system.
Yeah, down-regulate. Man, you're technical. That means bring it down, quieting it down. It's like quenching the fire. It's like pouring water on the fire. it dampens it down. And so what are the couple of products where you're going to show us with curcumin? So the big one is Turiva, the complete turmeric matrix.
So the uniqueness about curcumin is that for about 10 years now, we've been only extracting that small amount out of the turmeric root. So if you had a turmeric root in your hand, the curcumin would be a dime. The rest of the root, though, has many, many benefits. So Turiva brings in the oils, the fibers, the proteins, the polysaccharides, the carbohydrates that are healthy, and the curcumin. And the whole point of this is that the research says, hey, the whole root has many, many benefits on the immune system, not just that one ingredient.
That's why in the old country, people just ate the roots, right?
Correct, yeah.
And they were getting the full value of it. And we know that, as he just said, this product enhances the immune system, it decreases viral growth, and it reduces a lot of the symptoms for fighting off and for recovery. So the second thing, nutraceutical we're going to talk about is quercetin.
Yeah.
And it's spelled Quercetin, quercetin. So talk to us about quercetin.
Quercetin is they call it a bioflavonoid. That just means it was taken from a leaf. And so quercetin is one of those things that's used in a lot of different conditions. We call it pleiotropic. That means it's got so many different positive effects on the body.
On the body.
And the reason why it's discussed in COVID-19 is because it has an ability to be an ionophore. Ionophores drive zinc from outside the cell to inside the cell. So the benefit of quercetin would be that it brings a very, very helpful immune ingredient, zinc, into higher concentrations in cells to slow the replication of a virus.
Yes,
yeah.
And kill. Very important. And that's it, right? Quercetin comes in a product called Natural Dehist. Really good, even for people who have congestion. It's very good in clearing all of that. Energy? Allergies, yes, allergies. Thank you from the audience. Allergies. And we are going to the next one, which is zinc in all its forms, right? Quercetin allows the absorption of zinc from the serum, which is your blood, into the cell. Now we're going to talk about the different aspects of how zinc is presented. So we have zinc acetate, zinc citrate, picolinate, glycinate, and gluconate, which is the lozenges. So talk to us about the zinc presentation from an orthomolecular perspective.
Yeah. So zinc is probably one of the ones you've heard of the most, right? We've all thrown zinc lozenges in, or we've maybe grabbed some cough drops and didn't know that zinc was in it. Or maybe had some soup, and when you're sick and you're kind of craving that hot soup with vegetables and legumes and all these different vegetables in it, higher in zinc and broth. And so whether or not we know it or not culturally, we've been using zinc for hundreds, if not thousands of years because our body craves it when we're sick with a cold or a flu. So the goal of zinc, what we found is that it decreases the length of the cold and flu virus when you're supplementing zinc. It has the ability to restore mucosal immunity. So you have this barrier in your body, your eyes, your nose, your gut. It's all lined with this mucosa.
Which is really the first line of defense.
Correct.
Against any bacterial viral attack.
Correct, yeah. So zinc is critical to that barrier. So deficiencies in zinc really breaks down your first line defense. Yeah.
And what we have a reactive product, zinc product there. Which is right there.
Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll use. I think we have the zinc too here.
Oh yes, correct.
Yeah. We have the reacted zinc. So that is the solution from orthomolecular, and it's a biglycinate chelate. Very complex biochemistry there. Also in the reacted multi, which is a combination of vitamins and minerals in that product. So that's also a product that contains the zinc and selenium and the other things we're going to talk about. The next product is NAC. One of my great products is called NAC, but it's N-acetylcysteine. Talk about NAC to us.
So NAC With a lot of these ingredients, one thing you're noticing, right, is they have so many positive effects, right?
Yeah.
Vaccines and drugs are very specific. Natural supplements, they can do many, many great things.
God was careful in his architecture in giving us simple things that had real complex, a full range of impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So NAC, in regard to viruses, you have a master antioxidant in the human body called glutathione. That is arguably the most important antioxidant that a human can bolster. NAC is a precursor to glutathione. So by supplementing NAC or N-acetylcysteine, you are giving your body's pathway what it needs to create glutathione naturally.
And the antioxidant is a powerful way of giving energy and sustaining the energy levels in the cell. Don't forget that during the viral attack, the initial macrophagocytes that are fighting the virus go into a death spiral, and they need more cells to fight before, that's in our innate immune system, before in a couple of days the adaptive immune system steps in. So that's why a lot of the symptoms show up a couple of days later. So in that first war, that first line of the fight, we want to make sure our cells are energized so we don't even need the adaptive guys to step in. Because once the adaptive guys step in, it means that this is getting serious, right? We want our frontline troops to kick their ass out of your body immediately. So it is really important that you take NAC. I have been taking NAC for more than 2 years. I take it about 3 or 4 times a week. And do we have a NAC product there?
Yeah. And then you can show.
Yes. So we have L-glutamine. L-glutathione, sorry. The L-glutathione, not glutamine, that's a different. And we have the NAC product. And these are very cheap supplements. It's $27. It's really important. And just as Trevor was saying, NAC is a very powerful precursor to glutathione, which is really the key antioxidant in the body. And what it does is it reduces oxidative stress. It removes the exhaust out of creating energy in the ATP process. So when energy is created in the mitochondria, it produces exhaust. And that reacted processes or free radicals are removed by antioxidants and therefore keep the cells healthy and vibrant. Very important.
And to add to that, imagine the mitochondria, right? So the powerhouse, the engine of your smallest things in your body, your cell. When they have to fight a virus, especially a very infectious virus, they're working harder than ever.
Yeah.
And so if you're using antioxidants that will support your mitochondria to fight any type of virus spread, then you're giving yourself the best chance at overcoming that virus.
Especially at that first line of defense.
Yeah.
Very important. So we're going to now talk about vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin C as a collective. All right. So talk to us about that. Vitamin D, first of all.
Vitamin D, I've asked a lot of people this question. If you could have one ingredient and only one ingredient, and you had to standardize the entire world to the normal diet, and you could only change one supplement, what would it be? And commonly the answer is vitamin D.
Yes.
And so it is a hormone, not just a vitamin. So it means it's a chemical messenger that signals the immune system.
Correct. And unfortunately, it comes from the sun.
Yeah.
Or from supplements. The body doesn't make vitamin D. It makes vitamin D, but it needs sunlight, or we have to provide help for that. So it's a critical supplement. I was even thinking the other day, if children are going to go back to school, they should just give them one vitamin D for a week, and most of them should be fine, right? So vitamin D is really critical in your arsenal, and we have a high therapeutic dose here in the blisters. This therapeutic dose, it's a therapeutic dose with high potency. It's a 50,000 unit vitamin D3 on its own. Should be taken with special foods to help with absorption. That is only recommended as a therapeutic. Normally you would take the 5,000 or the 10,000 based on demand. This is a weekly capsule that you take. So vitamin A.
Vitamin A is critical for mucosal immunity. Again, so
Front line of defense.
First line of defense. If
Yes.
your barrier against viral entry. So deficiencies in vitamin A, which often foods that are high in vitamin A are those carrots, those colorful vegetables, those spinaches. Those are the foods that we
That's
don't
why they say
eat
you should
enough
eat
of.
five of them a
Yes.
day, right?
Yes.
And I eat less than one a day, right?
yeah.
And the different colors. So they bring all this very powerful aspect. Don't forget, we keep talking about the innate and the adaptive immune system. In God's architecture, that mucosal layer on our skin, on all the surfaces where things come into our body, is the primary defense layer where there is clear identification, whether it's friend or foe. When it's a foe, when it's enemy, there is an alert system, and that's our first line of defense. So these vitamins are critical in ensuring that that first line of defense, as I've been teaching on these workshops, that you want to reduce your bacterial load by brushing your teeth and your tongue, reduce that load so that when any foreign thing comes, the cells are ready for the fight. If you're already bacterially loaded, they are weakened already. So you wash your hands, you wash your mouth, you take a shower, wash your feet, and get rid of a lot of the bacteria that is accumulating on us on the mucosal layer on a daily basis. That's why you shower, if not you start smelling. That's why if you don't wash your mouth, it smells. You have to clean all that off because it contains a lot of dead bacteria. Let's go to vitamin C, the big boy.
Yeah, we've all heard about vitamin C. The biggest challenge, everyone typically is familiar with vitamin C, is taking enough. So the recommendation here, if you notice, is 1 to 3 grams daily. That's a lot, especially if you're taking it in capsule form. So the goal typically I've heard is research up to 2 to 3 grams taken orally, and then obviously through IV 10,
therapies.
15, 20 grams.
Exactly. And we have IV therapies here, higher dose IV therapies, because at the higher doses, as our pharmacists have been working on this, it moves from being an antioxidant to doing some other very interesting properties at higher dose. So there's a lot of discussion and controversy around vitamin C therapy, but it's a very exciting area for supporting recovery and fighting off the disease. So let's look at the next one. Melatonin. I take that every night.
Yeah. So melatonin, often referred to as a sleep aid, also in modern research is being discussed because it regulates T cell function,
Yes.
which is our adaptive immune system.
And the circadian rhythm. So if you cannot sleep, taking melatonin restores your sleep cycle, which is metabolically critical for fighting illness. So taking melatonin helps with, as he said, the stimulation of T cells, but also the circadian balance, which is really the which is the way in which the body controls the life cycle. It's a very, very important supplement.
As you've said, and I hear this a lot, which is, okay, if we had one supplement to take, we'd say if we can only choose one, it's vitamin D. Yeah. Well, if one lifestyle change you could make often is sleep. Exercise.
I take 3 milligrams, but it's recommended here that you take 5 to 20 milligrams, right? Very interesting. So if you cannot sleep, it's really important. Sleep is critical for restoring and resetting your immune system. So if you're not sleeping well and you're not sleeping 8 hours, some people say I can survive on 4 hours. That's bullshit. You need to sleep 8 hours or more. Like the young people, you see, like children, when they are born, they sleep all the time and only wake up to eat and go back to sleep. So sleep is really critical for survival and for growth. All right, let's talk about elderberry.
Okay. European elder is a really fascinating ingredient. So what elderberry does essentially, it's been shown to decrease symptoms of cold and flu, decrease the length of the virus. So you may see the placebo group may go 7 days with the cold flu, whereas the experiment group who took elderberry may go 3 to 5 days. And it slows the replication. So let's say you have, for example, 100 cells, right? And a virus comes in and infects one. and then it replicates into 2, into 3, into 7. The problems and the symptoms really skyrocket when there's so much replication that it overtakes the amount of cells in your body.
Correct.
Elderberry is a botanical, and actually a fruit, that you extract out of it, and it limits the replication so that your body can naturally fight that
Correct.
virus. Yeah.
Yeah, because that replication speed is really the real reason why a lot of people get on there, why it's so infectious. It overwhelms the speed at which we can build new immune cells to fight. So it overwhelms. And so anything that would limit that. So we're going to end at the next one, which is green tea. And we're going to continue this workshop next week. So talk to us about green tea.
So the active ingredient in green tea that is used in supplements is EGCG. The cool part about that is that quercetin and EGCG are ionophores together. So while there's many benefits to drinking green tea, the antioxidant capacity, the nutrients, the relaxing effect, the anti-stress, that specific ingredient improves zinc absorption.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So just to summarize, all of these nutraceuticals and botanicals, we are seeing that have 2 or 3 critical functions. Number 1, they are calming inflammation. We know inflammation is really at the source of increasing the ferocity of which the virus attacks. The second thing they do is that they boost our immune system and the supply of immunity. The third thing is the antioxidant impact. So if you look across all of this, God is teaching us, because He's the architect, that there are certain critical things that we should focus on. Anti-inflammatory, improving immune T cells capacity, and antioxidants to increase mitochondrial capacity and function. So those 3 things will end today, and we'll continue next week when my brother Trevor will be visiting again.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor. Any questions quickly before we go? No? It means it was well understood. Thanks again, Trevor.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks for having you. Okay?